There are always problems when it comes to tax and when it comes to declarations, because most people don't live in a simple world where you earn this and therefore you pay that amount of tax. Most people have a much more complicated setup. Some people have blended families, some people live in one location, some people live in more than one, and so on. And so I have a lot of sympathy for Angela Rayner's crisis about her tax, and I have sympathy for people like David Lammy who come out and support her and say that this is chasing a smear. In the same way, I have a lot of sympathy with Willie Wragg. The problem is, the problem, so I may have sympathy with these people, but I find it very difficult that individuals who have stood up for public election are hiding behind their party when it comes to questions about their moral rectitude. Are they morally upright individuals? Have they done the right thing? And yes, very difficult to know. And one trusts those people one goes to, one trusts lawyers, one trusts colleagues. But the problem with a politician is that they are the person that many ordinary people appeal to for help. Should you be appealing to William Wragg? Should you be appealing to Angela Rayner when you think you have got a tax problem, or when you think you have been receiving inappropriate messages from Grindr friends? Farage calls Wragg's issue abominable, and he says in an article today that those who have been elected to public office must be held to higher standards. I entirely agree with him. And that's not just William Wragg, it's also Angela Rayner. And the issue is not whether Wragg loses the whip, whether Angela Rayner loses her authority in the party. It's about their sense of honour. And are we at the point in public life where being pushed is the only option for somebody to bow out of public life, for somebody to recognise that public life is asking too high a demand of them? In both cases, in both the Angela Rayner case and in the William Wragg case, the question is about whether these two individuals were in a position to exercise proper judgment, or do they both, or does one or the other show a lack of judgment, an element of stupidity? Now, you could make the case with either of them. That's the point. And in both cases, the mess that they find themselves in is mixed up with what seems like apparent hypocrisy, because in both cases, both of them have called out others to resign or to show their taxes. Both of them have been quite outspoken about the misfortune that has fallen on other members of Parliament. Starmer says that he hasn't seen, and doesn't need to see, Rayner's receipts. And the identity of Charlie. Who is that? Charlie lingers in public media speculation. Who will get a call from Charlie in the future? Is Charlie some foreign peddler intent on causing damage? Is Rayner upright, correct, or mistaken? Again, the issue of trust is the real issue, because she was the person who called out others to publish their tax accounts. And Lammy's defence that we're not in government and it's not enough. It's not enough. Caesar's wife and all that. You know, Caesar's wife Caesar's wife must be above suspicion, and somebody who goes into public office, not somebody who is pushed into public office, somebody who stands up, puts themselves forward for public election to represent the people in Parliament, should be above this level of suspicion, or should at least hold their hand out and say, sorry, I've done something deeply wrong. I've done something which may be mistaken. Anybody could do it. And yet, in both cases, they're hiding behind the authority of the party. And they both seem to be falling short of the honour of standing up. Now, maybe Wragg's statement that he was fingered by Charlie's overtures, and that in turn he felt blackmailed into surrendering other people's telephone numbers, maybe that is the honourable statement that we're looking for. But the principle of honour, the principle of rectitude, the principle of bringing the House, the party, your colleagues into further disrepute, the principle of protecting people in public life, your friends, the people who you're sitting next to on those green benches. All of this is tied up with the idea that, do we have to drum people out of public office if they don't quite live up to the high standards that the public expect? Because, believe me, if we were caught not paying our appropriate tax, all hell would break loose, wouldn't it? Who would we turn to? We would turn to our MP for help. If we found we were receiving unsolicited telephone calls and dodgy messages, and we didn't know who else to turn to, we would turn to our MP for help. Now, in this case, our MP might be William Wragg. Our MP might be Angela Rayner. And they might be in a position to say, I know exactly how you feel. But that's not the impression which is coming across, is it?